Hanging with Heid. I'm Heidi Jo Lopez, and this is actually my second video today. And if you watched the one earlier, then you saw that my hair was up, and I took it down, and it's wet. And but you know, I'm trying to like shake it up for you guys. Obviously, I could have taken the time to get ready and look. I don't know, drier. But you know what? I'm really all about keeping it real. And if I can go to the store and do things in my muck boots from my farm and my farm coat and my hair wadded up on my head and just my teeth brushed and a little deodorant, then we can do these with my hair wet. So here we are. Hi, how's it going? I hope you're doing good today. I hope that you woke up with a smile on your face and joy in your heart, because we know that the joy of the Lord is our strength. That's another promise. And so with this video, sticking with the plan of trying to do short clips of the testimony of Jesus Christ in my life. I am a living epistle, and I hope some of you have looked that up since our last video. But anyway, so here we are, same library, yep. And yeah, a whole bunch of my books are back in there. But anyway, I asked the Holy Spirit, what do you want me to tell him now? And this is not the next miracle that he's done in my life, or the next big, amazing thing that he's done, but it was very, very amazing. Okay, I'm going to start with that one, Lord. I was going to start with a different one, but I'm going to do this one first. So when I was about 12, at that time, we still had the campground. I was 11 or 12. We still had I had to have been 11, because I met my friend Tanya at 12, and this had already happened. So I was 11. So we still had the campground, and I'm doing this because I live on Wapato Lake. Don't come to my house. No, just kidding. Well, yeah, no, I'm not, but you know, anyway. And so I look at the beautiful Stormy Mountain in Manson, Washington, and Wapato Lake, and I grew up down the road, and my mom lives, and I'm probably doing this opposite. It's probably mom lives over here, and the campground's over there. But anyway, didn't plan to live on the road I grew up on, but I'm glad that we do. And as long as God has us here, we're excited to be here. So our view is spectacular. So you can't beat a good view. Anyway, so I was 11. And by that time, at 10 years old, my grandparents, with a strong encouragement from my Uncle Mike, built my mom a house up the road from the campground that we grew up on. And I'm not going to go into all of that. It was a huge blessing. So we moved out of that trailer, and we lived in this nice house, and that was awesome. So there's lots of tales there. But anyway, I wanted to play with some of the kids at the campground. We used to play kick the can and capture the flag, and we used to have this tire swing that we had named Fred. Anyway, there was all kinds of stuff, but we had a lot of fun. And so I wanted to play down there, and so I had asked permission from my mom, and I had a bike at that time. My first bike was stolen, by the way. Yeah, I was 5. That's a story that's pretty hilarious all in itself. Who steals a 5-year-old's bike? But whatever. Anyway, I had this bike, and I was playing down there, and we had this huge yard light. So if any of you are country people, you know what a yard light is. It's the equivalent to going to a park, and you got the big light. So it covers quite a bit of space. So we had this big yard light down there, and all the kids were playing, and you know, I can't tell you if it was windy at that moment when we were all playing. I'm not sure. I can only tell you of my experience after I left the campground. And all of a sudden I realized it was time to go home and I needed to go. And have you ever been out at night when it's that seriously inky black? It's so black that you're pretty sure there's no moon or stars, and it's that black, you know, that you feel like people have said you can't see, you know, to the end of your nose or in front of your face. Okay, it was that kind of black. So I got on my bike and I left the campground. I mean, literally, like, here's the campground, here's the edge of the road, campground, road to go home. And the moment I got onto that road, I became aware, or it started really blowing. Like I said, I'm not sure if it was blowing. I never realized it was blowing, so, you know, you decide. But as I entered that road, I was very aware of two things, actually three things. One, it was extremely dark. Two, it was very, 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 very windy. And three, all of a sudden, there was a fear so tangible that it felt like murder. And I'm not making it up. I'm not embellishing because I'm a writer. It felt like murder. And I had a fear enter me that I'd only ever had one other time. And that was when I was 8 years old, and maybe another day, but not today. I'll share that. But in that time, it was so real. And it like took my breath away. And have you ever like tried to pedal into the wind? Well, I'm pedaling and pedaling and pedaling and pedaling and pedaling. And I couldn't seem to get anywhere. And I was so afraid that it was almost like my vocal cords were paralyzed. But finally, something built up in me, and I thank the Lord. He built something up to me, and I just said out, Jesus, save me. And in that moment, you guys, in that instant, it was quicker than a moment. In that instant, all of a sudden, the wind stopped. The whole road turned white, like the brightest moonlight you could imagine. Just, have you ever seen, you've seen the moon where it's so, so bright that it literally seems like it's day? It was like that, but it was in the middle of the night. Or it wasn't in the middle of the night, but night. And the whole road turned white. And then all of a sudden, the road was flanked with angels. And actually, I only remember the angels on this side, so I don't know if I was flanked. And even when I see it now, I see them on this side. So there could have been angels on this side, but I only recall the ones on this side. And all of a sudden, the whole road was lined with angels. And we had these huge, tall trees that are around the lake. And these angels were as tall or taller than the trees, and instantly peace. And have you ever been to Disneyland or Disney World and been on the E.T. ride? I don't know if any of you have, but you're sitting on the bike. You don't have to pedal. You're just like cruising along. You know, it's like that, okay? E.T. ride. So I'm literally I'm looking at everything around me, and I'm amazed. And they're smiling at me, and they're waving at me, and I could feel their pleasure and their love of me, and just, there was zero fear, and that murder spirit, that fear was completely gone. And I went from, it was like I was on a track. It was pulling me to my mom's house. And all of a sudden, I was at the top of our driveway, which from the campground to mom's is at least a quarter of a mile, if not maybe a little bit more. And no wind, nothing. I wasn't pedaling. I'm just sitting there. And just this amazingness, this amazing peace and to see their faces, of which I was 11 and I can still see it. It was so powerful and embedded into me. I got to the top of the driveway and I turned around, and in that instant as I'm turning, they were gone. It was pitch black. The wind was howling, and I knew. It was unbelievable. I was like, oh my gosh, the God of heaven just did this massive miracle for me. And I dropped my bike and I ran into the house, and I'm crying and I'm yelling for mom, and I'm telling mom about it because it was so massive and so impactful. And there was a time when, and I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to give the enemy any credence, but there was a time before when I was 8 where I was physically attacked by a demonic thing. And I'm not going to go into it. And it had instilled fear in me. And I spent, from the age of 8, for years, my mom would have to pray with me every night because fear was so tangible. So as I've looked back on this angelic, and I've seen angels more than once, but this was the most amazing. When I look back on this time and I ask God about it, I ponder it, I think about, it's like he was canceling out what the enemy had tried to do. He tried to, and he did. He put fear in me because I didn't know that I had the right to deny it. I was 8 when it happened. But whether it took me years to really figure out what God was doing, he canceled it. He put a canceling in there. And every time that the enemy has come in like a flood, and there's been a lot of them, and tried to steal, try to tell me I'm not saved, try to lie to me of who God is, and even in this time saying, oh, God's not going to come through. He's not going to be faithful this time. And I have to go back to every time that God has been faithful. And I absolutely go back to this time and say no, just like Peter. When Peter got out on the water to walk on those waves, and he was keeping his eyes on Jesus, and he was having the most intense, amazing knowing of relationship, I believe it with all my heart. And then all of a sudden the howling wind distracted him, and he started looking around, and that's when he sank. It says he cried out to the Lord, and instantly Jesus pulled him out, and they were in the boat. So that's who we serve. We serve an instantly God. And sometimes the instantly needs to be instantly, like that little 11-year-old girl that needed to have the instantly. There are instantly moments, and there are other moments where it takes some birthing and some time. And I think we're in a birthing and a time. I still believe we're in that hour. What part of that hour we're in, I don't know, because I'm not God, and I don't need to be because he's already God. And I don't want to be. I wouldn't want that job ever. And I couldn't have it, but nonetheless, I digress. But don't forget, we got to stand on all those promises and all the times that God has acted. So whenever anybody wants to speak against there's no God or this and that, I'm like, excuse me, you can never take away what I have experienced. You can never take away what I have seen. So sometimes God gives us an experience that we feel and we know. But sometimes he gives us a see experience. And when you couple that with a know, it solidifies him deeper into you, into your life, into how powerful and mighty he is. So I hope I've encouraged you today. I hope you feel strengthened. And again, I encourage you to write down all of the blessings that God has been in your life, all the times that you know that he saved you, even if it's not as dramatic or as visual as mine is, this one I just shared with you. Because just yesterday, my husband careened off our driveway, which is very steep, because it was like black ice, and he careened off, and he could have shot down that hill, of which he was, and gone right into the lake. He could have been killed, but God. Miraculously, we had a fire hydrant at the bottom, and the truck turned just in time, and really it stopped him. It stopped him. I don't know how it stopped him. If you saw the pictures, you wouldn't understand how it stopped. But God is amazing. So he's always looking for opportunities to get closer to us, to know us deeper. But we have to choose to look for opportunities to know him deeper. We have to take the time to talk with him and press into the Father's heart and get to know him in his word, the Bible, and ask him, what do you want to tell me today? Show me how big you are to me today. And even as I'm saying it right now, I'm asking for God to show me, how big are you today? He was big yesterday, but it says that his mercies are new every morning. That was merciful. Saving my husband. So merciful. Ask him, how big are you in my world today? Show me who you are so that I may know you more. Because guys, the peace and the love and the standing and the faith, it's in the knowing. So I encourage you to know him more. Know him more today. Be blessed. I'll see you next time.